Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys. Thursday, April 17th, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith with you, and we have reached Game 82 for the remaining teams in action tonight. The final day of the NHL regular season is upon us as we put an end to the regular season campaign tonight on this Thursday, and the playoffs set to begin on Saturday. We've got matchups. We've got a full first-round schedule that has been released earlier today, so we know days, we know times for these games, and my gosh, you need a fucking compass to keep track of when these games are. Different days, not every other day for each series. There's going to be 2-day breaks in certain parts of each series.
Various start times.
4 p.m. Eastern games, 6 and 6:30 p.m. Eastern games, and for you poor motherfuckers out there in Minnesota, you got to deal with an 11 p.m. Eastern game for one of your games in the series against the Vegas Golden Knights. So we're all over the map. Any time of day is a good day for NHL playoff hockey. That's apparently the way the league thinks based on that first-round schedule. But, Alex, good to see you. And like I said, we're excited. I mean, the playoffs is the best playoffs in sports. I don't want to hear football. I don't want to hear basketball, baseball. No sport can top hockey when it comes to the competition that takes place in the playoffs, and it's as good as it gets.
You literally have players in those other sports say the most exciting postseason in all the sports is the Stanley Cup playoffs, and it really is. And I'm excited. This is the most excited I've been for a postseason in a long time, mainly because of just kind of what's, it seems like it's wide open, where we had this pattern where we kind of knew for about 12 of the teams that have qualified, we knew they were going to be in the playoffs. Right, you had the race in the West late. You had the tight race in the wild card at the end in the East. But the fact that there's so many teams where we knew they were going to be a postseason contender, and now we get to this point where some of the teams at the top are looking a little shaky, like Washington. A lot of people thinking they could be knocked down in the first round. We don't trust Winnipeg, a team who's played their best hockey in franchise history. Dallas and Columbus have made, Colorado have made moves and have had injuries. Edmonton's had injuries. So there's such, there's a question mark behind every single team, a bigger question mark than usual as we lead into this final day of the season and going into the playoffs starting on Saturday.
No doubt. And because of what happened last night, which is where we'll start our Wednesday recap with Carolina, Montreal. Montreal took care of the only piece of business that was left to be determined as far as the Stanley Cup playoffs are concerned. They got a 4-2 win over Carolina. Of course, they needed only 1 point to clinch a playoff spot. And, of course, they get the 2 points with the victory, which means they will now face the Washington Capitals in the first round. That series will begin on Monday between those two teams. But Montreal gets it done 4-2. I'm telling you what, midway through that game, man, it was looking like it was going to be an agonizing journey for Montreal to clinch that playoff spot. It was 1-1. Carolina was actually kind of carrying the play midway through the second, but a big sequence in the final 4 minutes of the second period. Suzuki and Caden Gooley, who had 2 goals in last night's game, they score back-to-back to give Montreal that 3-1 lead, and they really didn't look back from there. They get the 4-2 win over a Carolina team that rested many of their best players last night. We did cash the Montreal team total. I went with that over 3.5 at plus money, so that hit for me. Obviously took the draw. That falls short, but Montreal on their way to the playoffs, Alex, and facing the Washington Capitals. And before we get to the other games last night, we do want to take a minute to give Montreal their props. Just, an incredible job. We thought it would be another year of rebuilding and just getting ready for the future. There was not many people that thought they would be in a position to contend to make the playoffs, let alone actually make the Stanley Cup playoffs. But really, it's been Suzuki, the way he's played, Cole Caulfield, Slavkovsky, and most importantly, and look, Montembeault and net was very good more often than not. But I think the guy that really, really took this Montreal team to another level, because he played at another level, is Lane Hudson. The season he had, 60 assists. You got to be shitting me in your rookie season. Absolutely spectacular. Just his play with the puck, phenomenal throughout the course of the season. His vision, his passing ability, you name it. His offensive instincts are absolutely off the charts. He
Yeah.
passed over in the draft by many teams because they thought he was too small. Bull crap is what he ended up saying to that. He's got the skill set to be a very excellent defenseman in this league. He proved that. And here is this young, up-and-coming, rambunctious Montreal Canadiens team that is going to be loose as it gets going into this first round. They can just, be loose, be confident, be aggressive, don't sit back, don't leave anything in the tank, and see if you can give this Washington Capitals team that, coming in, and we'll talk more tomorrow about that series in particular, but see what you can give them. But hats off to Montreal, Jeff Gorton, Kent Hughes, and the management group, and Marty St. Louis. I think he's proven to the naysayers and the doubters he is NHL head coaching material. And there were some people not saying that going into the season about Marty St. Louis, wondering if he had the ability and the chops to take Montreal to the next level or get that next step and make the playoffs. People thought they might have to get another coach, for Montreal to make the playoffs. Well, Marty St. Louis says no to that, and obviously a great job done by him and this whole organization to get to the playoff. Alex, it is quite the achievement.
Absolutely. This is a team that we thought was, going to be on the rise, going to be a pesky team. I actually thought, like I said, they were going to be putting themselves in the running to possibly get a Connor McDavid down the line. That was actually what I said in the season preview. Certainly did not think that this would be a team that would be making the playoffs this year. And seeing the production that we have from a lot of the guys, like you said, Lane Hudson, to have such a big year. And now 66 points on the season at the 60 assists, and seeing a guy like Patrick Laine, while he did miss some time with injury, but to come back and look like himself again. He feels seems to be feeling more at home here with Montreal than he did certainly in Columbus, and even of course we know how things ended in Winnipeg. So to see any player have that kind of resurgence in their career when they go through kind of a little bumpy phase is always a good thing. But to do that, and of course, the league's just better when Montreal's in the playoffs. In a year where the original six has taken a downturn, it's the first time in history where the only two original six teams in the playoffs are Toronto and Montreal. I think it's the first time ever where you've had the Rangers and the Wings miss out for multiple years. So when you have that, having those classic franchises in, and then having that fan base as well, like I said, the energy. I love the last 30 seconds of that game, where great job by the announcers for the Canadiens. They just stopped speaking and let the crowd take over. It just had that playoff energy and intensity, and that place is going to be through the roof. I'm already making my adjustments now for what the power rank is, because that home ice changes at Bell Center once it's a playoff game. When they put Stanley Cup playoffs on the ice, everything changes in that building, and the atmosphere, it just gets even more electric. So I can't wait to see that. It's been a long time since we've seen some quality playoff hockey played in Belle Provence.
Yeah, I did see that stat, Rich H. It's the first time in NHL. Hard to believe, because NHL history is a long time. It encapsulates a long period of time. That the first time ever, the only two original six teams in the playoffs are the Leafs and the Canadiens. Yep.
Yeah. It's over 100 years of hockey, basically.
Yeah.
It's wild.
The only two original six teams and the two Canadian original six teams. Yeah. Nobody in the original six from the States was able to make it. Speaking of one of the original six teams that didn't make it, the Detroit Red Wings, they beat New Jersey 5-2 last night. Not much to say other than, look, the over by, I shouldn't say the over by Fecta cash, the full game over cashed, which was the best bet. And of course, at the last minute, Marco Kasper, the friendly betting ghost, comes through again with a bargain bin special winner as he gets the empty netter to put that game away. So that was a great game for me betting-wise, the full game over at least hitting, and of course the Marco Kasper bargain bin special. Winnipeg wins in overtime, 2-1 over the Anaheim Ducks. Not a bad effort from the Anaheim Ducks for a road game here on a back-to-back. They did fire 44 shots. I will give Billy Husso a lot of credit. He played pretty solid, 42 saves on 42 shots, but Winnipeg was able to get the win there, 2-1 in overtime against Anaheim. Dallas Stars, another loss, 7 straight losses for them entering the playoffs. Obviously, now, clearly they have not played well enough. There's no question about that. I think some of it is disinterest I think a lot of it is just, they've been locked into their spot for a long time. But the one thing that was really unfortunate for Dallas was the injury, of course, to Jason Robertson, and the fact that after the game it didn't look good. And Peter DeBoer saying, we're going to have to wait and see. But it sure sounds like this is a guy that's going to miss some time here for the Dallas Stars. And that's just the absolute worst case scenario you could ask for when you're about to start the playoffs Saturday against the Colorado Avalanche. So we'll have to see Jason Robertson's status moving forward. Could they have sat him? I mean, you always say, why the hell was he playing? But at the same time, this is a league where it's not easy to call up a bunch of guys and put them in the lineup. There's salary cap things you got to factor in and worry about. And it's just, it's not possible to rest everybody that you want to rest, every single night in this league. But nevertheless, to have that happen to Robertson is just, you hate to see it if you're Dallas. And we're going to have to see if this team's capable of flipping the switch. I kind of have my thoughts on whether they will or not. I'm going to save them for tomorrow on the playoff preview show. But definitely not playing great going into the playoffs. This was a tough push for the full game over, because I had over 6 and it was 5-1 and there was no goals in the third period. So unfortunately, we get a push with the full game over, but the first period over does cash in that game. Not a lot to say about the late games. I mean, Vancouver, they're supposed to be able to take advantage of a Vegas team just playing out the string, looking forward to the playoffs. But weird decision. Well, it's not a weird decision. Lankinen got injured late in the second period. Rick Tocchet replaced him with the young Finnish kid and on Topolo, and unfortunately 4-1 is what it ended in favor of the Vegas Golden Knights in that game. And then we had Edmonton beating San Jose 3-0. This was disappointing. I thought San Jose was just not very good at all. They couldn't get much going. They had less than 20 shots. Pretty feeble for their final home game. But you got to give Edmonton credit. I mean, they had really not much at stake. Connor McDavid gets to 100 points. They get a 3-0 win there and shut out the San Jose Sharks, hold them to only 18 shots. They did play a very, very good defensive game and made life easy, quite frankly. It was a good performance by Skinner in his return to the net, Stuart Skinner, but they certainly made life easy for him, and it was a good defensive effort by Edmonton in that game. So I didn't like the way the late games went. We liked Vancouver and San Jose, and neither one was able to get the job done. And we've been noticing that here. These non-playoff teams in good spots at home in their finale. Yep. Against playoff-bound teams, they're supposed to be looking ahead to the playoffs and maybe not all that enthusiastic about playing a certain game. They're not getting the job done. Seattle didn't get it done against LA. Vancouver didn't get it done last night against Vegas. And, of course, San Jose didn't get it done against Edmonton. Another reason why I'm fucking happy the regular season's over after tonight. Alex, your thoughts on what we saw last night?
Yeah, absolutely. We just kind of we're dog walking it into the last couple of days of the regular season. The one big thing that was nice about last night, and I was on the in the middle of actually doing a radio interview. Shout out to Ken Thompson on SportsX Radio with him during the middle of that Carolina Montreal game, and it was 1-1 at the end of the first intermission. Like actually 3 minutes before coming back to the second intermission, I go, I feel like the pace is going well enough to where Montreal may be good enough to grab first goal of the second period. So that ended up cashing in, and I was actually able to get off of the interview and bet that it's still in time to cash that one. So that was good. So that's the way I would be looking at a lot of things tonight. There'll be a lot of live looks, a lot of player props, keeping everything small because just like the teams that have made it to the playoffs, we have our eyes on a bigger prize, which is Saturday and beyond.
No doubt. And we'll get into Thursday's card right now, and we will begin with probably the best side on the board tonight, quite honestly, in my opinion, at least. Unfortunately, there's been a big price move. We've got the New York Islanders taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Columbus minus 180, home favorites, 6.5 the total. Columbus getting knocked out officially last night with the Montreal victory over Carolina. I don't think that changes anything tonight as far as Columbus, the season it's been, the season that they put together. No one expected them to even be sniffing around the Stanley Cup playoffs, let alone have a chance right down to the second last night of the regular season to get in. It's been a much better season than anyone thought. They've played with great emotion, obviously with Johnny Gaudreau's passing. It's been a very rewarding season for the fan base there in Columbus, and there's a lot of optimism now that this can be a springboard into next year. And with all the effort this Jackets team has poured into making the playoffs this year, and with how good they've been all season on home ice, even with the disappointment of just falling short of making the Stanley Cup playoffs, I doubt they're mailing this thing in tonight. I think Columbus is going to bring it, just like they have the last few games. Let's not forget what Calgary did. Calgary against Vegas knew they were out, and then in the third period, they turned it on and put it into another gear and came back from a deficit to beat the Golden Knights. Almost like, it sucks we're not making the playoffs, but we absolutely are going to try to go out on a high note for our home fans. We've still had a hell of a season, and let's finish this the right way. Meanwhile, the Islanders aren't doing shit, right now down the stretch. They've been terrible. That was a lethargic game against Washington in their so-called home finale. Really, the highlight for them was not anything in the game because they were terrible, but it was just saluting Matt Martin, at the end of that game. I don't have any faith in the Islanders having a great game or a big-time performance tonight, especially now that we see Marcus Hogberg's in net, who is obviously not a goalie that I have a great deal of confidence in right now. And Columbus is rolling right back with Jet Greaves here in this season finale, the guy that's been lights out, the guy that's given up just one goal in the last 3 starts combined here for the Columbus Blue Jackets. So I got this at minus 135. I mean, this is a big move. So if you're going to take them now, you got to take Jackets in regulation or Jackets -1. I mean, I took money line or overnight. It was the first bet I made sidewise because I knew I was going to like the Jackets. I don't think even with the disappointment of missing the playoffs, I think they come out with a big effort, big home win here in their final game of the season. Islanders look like they've packed it in. So I like the Jackets here. What I would say now is I mentioned these 2 bets earlier with Jimmy the Bag on his show. I'm on both team totals here. I'm on the Jackets team total over 3.5 in this game at plus money. I think they can get to 4 goals. Most of the recent Islander losses have been allowing 4 goals or more. So I like the Jackets team total over along with the Jackets money line. Although if you guys don't want to lay minus 180 at this current price, you're going to have to take them either in regulation or the -1 or 1.5 puck line. And I also like the New York Islanders team total under 2.5. I took it. It was plus money. It still is at most spots. Shop around. But I mean, Jet Greaves has given up 1 goal in the last 3 starts combined. And the Columbus Blue Jackets have been shutting teams down. And obviously the goaltending from Jet Greaves has been a big part of it. And I don't trust the Islanders here necessarily to fill the back of the net in this one. So you can still, it's moved a bit, but you can still get plus 105, plus 106 with that New York Islanders team total under 2.5. So I'm on that as well here. Alex, Islanders, Blue Jackets.
Yeah, I'm keeping this real simple. Columbus team total over 3.5. You got minus $1.10, which is still widely available. FanDuel, a couple of the shops have that. They said just trusting in Columbus having a good outing for the fans. He said it's been a very emotional season and a roller coaster season, but in a good way for the most part, obviously, especially in that second end to have, like I said, a playoff race in Columbus is something I don't think anyone could have imagined with all the things that had gone on at the beginning of this year. So, hats off to them for a hell of a season. I think they finished strong at home, get 4 goals past Holberg and the Islanders, and then Patrick Waugh can go have a drink and maybe find some new employment.
Yeah. Yeah, milestones in this game. I know Addison in our group chat was making sure of course I was going to mention them because that's a big premise of the player prop bets these last few nights here of the regular season. We do have 2. We've got Anders Lee, the captain for the Islanders, who needs 1 more goal for 30. I did bet Anders Lee, actually, because if someone's going to score for the Islanders, I think they're probably going to feed him the puck. He's the captain. He needs 1 more for 30. And then Sean Monahan for Columbus. There's another as far as getting to 30 goals. I definitely think he's got that potential to do that here tonight. He's he's got 19 goals. He's 1 away from 20, I should say. So, there's no question. I think he's worth a shot here tonight as well. He needs 1 goal. Sean Monahan for 20 and 20. A lot of incentives kick in when you get to 20 goals. So that's significant. No question about that. If you want to take a shot with Zach Werenski, he needs 2 assists for 60. So you could go over 1.5 points and or over 1.5 assists here tonight for Zach Werenski. Boone Jenner is 1 away from 200 career goals. So Boone Jenner maybe. So there's definitely some milestones to look at here in this. All those ones I mentioned, I think, are worth a look here. Olivier, Jonathan Davis, he still needs 1 or 2 to get to 20 himself. And I could see him maybe finding the back of the net. He's certainly getting a good price. So, yeah, those are the ones I mainly be looking at here. Kyle Palmieri, he needs 2 points for 50. Like I said, I don't know how much scoring the Islanders are going to do tonight. So I'd be careful with taking too many of their props, but there's something you can consider as well. Carolina and Ottawa. We've got the Senators minus 130 home favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. Ottawa knows they're facing Toronto, Battle of Ontario. That series will begin on Sunday. Linus Ullmark will start tonight for the Ottawa Senators. And very interesting that they're pretty much going outside of Thomas Chabot, who is not going to play tonight for the Ottawa Senators. But he's going to be rested because he's been a little bit banged up down the stretch. But other than that, everyone's in. So Travis Green is not resting anybody tonight. You're seeing everybody pretty much in the lineup. Batherson, Jake Sanderson, Dylan Cousins, Claude Giroux, Timmy Stützle, and a returning Brady Tkachuk, who is going to be in the lineup tonight for the Ottawa Senators in this game. And this makes sense. This one I can see. Now, you don't want anyone getting hurt, obviously, and you usually don't like risking it. But Brady Tkachuk's been out for a while. He hasn't played since March 30th. Getting him into this game, ramping him up a bit, getting him into game form and rhythm for one game before the start of the playoffs and the Battle of Ontario on Sunday night, I think I'm okay with that. I'm cool with Travis Green making that decision, because that way you get some of the rust out of his system tonight. And then, of course, he's ready for the Stanley Cup playoffs, obviously, Sunday night. And it's very interesting that he is indeed playing here for the Ottawa Senators tonight, because he indeed is one of the milestone players in this game. He needs 1 goal for 30 on the season. So could be a Brady Tkachuk goal night, potentially in this game. I actually took Ottawa here. Small bet, minus 125, minus 130. I think the fact Tkachuk is in the lineup, that's the emotional leader. It's the heart and soul. It's the guy that gets everybody else, ratcheted up. When they see Brady Tkachuk on the ice, I think that probably puts a little more pep in Ottawa's step for what would otherwise be a meaningless regular season finale. Like, if they don't have Tkachuk tonight, I'm not sure Ottawa's given a damn tonight. But I think they probably have a little more incentive here, finish with a home win. Not to mention, look what Carolina's doing for them. We saw last night, patchwork, shorthanded lineup. It looks like all those guys are going to be out again. Aho, Blake, Chatfield, Jarvis, Martin, Nuke, Slavin, Stahl. It's at the moment looking like all those guys are going to not suit up once again tonight for Carolina in this game. Freddie Anderson likely will start, though, because it's the back-to-back. So Ottawa for me, but like I said, keep it small, but I am on the Senators here. Alex, Carolina, Ottawa.
This game is a pass for me pregame. I'll watch it and look for some things in game. I need saves from Linus Ullmark. I have him plus 1,100 saves, plus 12. Well, I'm not going to get plus 1,200 saves unless Carolina goes absolutely insane. But plus 1,100, he's at 1089 right now. So I'll be looking to cash that in. So I just need 11 more saves from him for that. So maybe I'll take a shot with Linus Ullmark over saves if I'm looking for anything. But like I said, I'm looking for some more stuff in game.
And all these players that need 1 or 2 goals for milestone goal marks, they're good over shots props. Look at a few of the guys last night, in particular. So keep that in mind. That's why with Jonathan saying over shots for Tkachuk too. Yeah, absolutely. Of course. If you're going to score, you need to shoot the puck. If you're going to get your milestone number, you got to shoot the puck and shoot it often. So definitely makes sense that if you like, certain players to get to that milestone number here in these games tonight, the over shots on goal should be correlated with that. No question.
I'm just joking because I'm looking at my stats. I'm like Carolina of all teams with a bunch of shots. I'm like, my 1,200 shots may not be that just yet. We know how Carolina can get 50 shots on a goal and not score a damn thing. So who knows what all happens in this one? Right?
Yeah, exactly. So, like I said, and Brady Tkachuk, do they put him in just to get to the? No, I think they'd put him in more so because they want to get him, in a little bit more of a flow and rhythm for Game 1 on Sunday when they take on.
Is that something you've heard about too, with the lineups minute restrictions, like as far as like shift, or anything regarding actual shift restrictions or things? Because I know we saw where some guys who are top line guys were slated to play on the 3rd or 4th line, like last night, Rantanen on that 3rd line for Dallas.
Yes,
Have
just
you
to
heard anything
pace
on that?
the minutes. Yeah, pace the minutes. They play, but they play less shifts and fewer minutes. Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm seeing some coaches do that for sure.
Okay.
There's no doubt. Yeah, and that's another thing. Brady Tkachuk is going to play, but they may pace his minutes too.
Right.
You never know, especially if he gets that 30th goal early. Then they'll really, I think, kind of pace his minutes the rest of the way. But like I said, I think Ottawa just, Carolina's shown their cards. They're just looking to get the playoffs going with the AHL roster that they've got going on the last couple nights. All right, Washington and Pittsburgh. We've got even money here, minus 110, both sides, 6 the total here, shaded to the over. I mean, this is definitely a team where I think Pittsburgh, with Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin and Letang and all the veterans. I think there's going to be an onus to win this game. I don't know if I'm going to jump in, though, and bet Pittsburgh, but it'd be Pittsburgh or pass spot for me here in this game against Washington. The Capitals, of course, we'll have to see who's in the lineup for them. The last I checked, there isn't going to be any Protas, Chychrun, and John Carlson. But beyond that, we'll have to see who's in the lineup. Logan Thompson being rested for game one. They are not going to start Charlie Lindgren tonight. It's going to be the debuting Clay Stevenson getting the start here for the Washington Capitals. It's a guy that has split the net in Hershey in the American Hockey League with Hunter Shepard. Hunter Shepard and Clay Stevenson have been the goalies down there in Hershey, and Clay Stevenson going to get this first NHL start here with the Capitals in this game. Alex Nedeljkovic will get the nod here for the Pittsburgh Penguins. There are some key absences, though, for Pittsburgh, I want to note. Nola Chari's out. Chris Letang's out. Rutger McGroarty's out. Matt Nieto's out. Thomas Novak is out. Obviously, you've still got Crosby, Raquel, Rust. You've got Crosby, Raquel, and Rust, though. That's the line that's carried Pittsburgh all year. So you're probably not going to be in a horrible shape for this game if you're the Pittsburgh Penguins. You got the guys that have been carrying you offensively at least all year. I like over by Fecta here. First period over, full game over. We've been talking about this a lot with Washington. There's 21-5 is the run now with the first period over for them. I think it's just a goals type of game. And yeah, maybe Stevenson in net. There's an onus to help him out, be solid defensively, but there's also not an onus to get yourself fucking injured and block shots in a meaningless game. So how much help are they going to be able to give Clay Stevenson? As far as blocking shots, they're not going to go above and beyond to do that with the playoffs starting on Monday. So, and his numbers are meandering, in the AHL level, in my opinion. So I think Pittsburgh can find the back of the net. And I certainly think Washington can as well. We know Nedeljkovic and this Penguin D is less than stellar. So over by Fecta for me. Alex, Capitals, Penguins.
So I grabbed Pittsburgh minus $1.02 on the money line once I saw it was going to be Clay Stevenson. He's not even Hunter Shepard. Like he's the fourth option for this team for a reason. Also looking at that over, I'm going the trifecta, but I'm going with both teams to score in the first period pregame. You can grab that at plus 140, and then I'll just look to grab in game that first period over, like you mentioned, 21-5 run with Washington, and like I said, based on how they've been giving up goals, is certainly still a viable trend. Pittsburgh, like I said, last home game, Crosby is not going to let the team let the fans down in this one. So I like Penguins here over by Fecta in game with the trifecta adding on both teams to score in the first period pregame.
Yeah, that's the great parlay to make is the Crosby point and Rust goal parlay. Crosby needs a point for 90. Rust needs a goal for 30. Raquel needs a point for 70. So you could even do a Rust goal, Crosby point, Raquel point, parlay.
Round robin it.
Yeah, round robin it. And if you really want to be brave, go for the gusto with the goal parlay guys in this game. Rust for Pittsburgh, who needs one goal to get to 30, and Dylan Strome for Washington, who needs one goal to get to 30. So this is a fun game to do some little science work here, science experiment. Get your Bunsen burners and your beakers out. As we like to say, experiment with some shit as far as player prop parlays in this game, because there's definitely a few that make some sense here in this particular game, because you got Strome needing one goal for 30, Brian Rust needing one goal for 30, Crosby needing 1 point for 90, and Raquel needing 1 point for 70. So, like I said, you can do mix and match with a bunch of different things here, and I'll be doing that for sure here in this game. So Pittsburgh for Alex, and looking for live overs and over by Fecta here for me with this one. All right, we've got the Tampa Bay Lightning taking on the I might sprinkle on Pittsburgh too, small as well, now that I think of it. You're right, I'm looking at Stevenson. It's like, ooh, not exactly a guy that I'm fully trusting to have a hell of a game tonight. All right, Tampa Bay Lightning, New York Rangers. We've got even money, minus 110 here, both sides, 6.5 the total. You know what's funny is that this line got up to as high as minus 135 this morning with the New York Rangers as home favorites. The money came in on the Rangers because initially people thought, well, you know what, Tampa Bay, they've locked in their playoff spot. They're facing Florida. That series obviously is going to start on Monday between those two teams. Not a lot on the line. And Jonas Johansson confirmed in net, not Andrei Vasilevsky. So I'm sure that played a part in the Rangers' money coming in. But then this Panarin shit hits the fan this morning. And all of a sudden, that behind the scenes, that the Madison Square Garden and paying off some female and settlement money regarding an alleged sexual assault incident. And that hits the fan. And Laviolette's got to answer questions about that from the media this morning. Say, I'll just read the statement. I have nothing more to add as far as that's concerned. And then you just realize, seriously, Ian, really? Even with Johansson and net, Tampa Bay, looking ahead to Florida in the Battle of Florida, how the fuck could you even think for a single second to put a cent of your money on the New York Rangers? And I'm not doing it. Simple as that. I am not doing it. I don't even give a damn it's their final home game. I don't give a damn that it's the legend Sam Rosen's final call tonight, his final game in the broadcast booth, which it is. It's not a situation at all that it's toxic, man. I just think the Rangers players want to get the hell away from each other, get the hell away from the rink, get the hell away from this mess, this dumpster fire, this tire fire of a season that this has turned into for the New York Rangers. So there's not a chance in hell I'm betting aside in this game. And I don't want Tampa Bay because of their situation and with Johansson and net, but I'm sure as hell not interested now in the New York Rangers with this shit show going on there. I like goals here, though. That's the one thing I will bet. I like over by Fecta in this game. Again, just like the last game. Look at the Rangers. They've been an over machine here down the stretch. The one thing they can still do during this 8-2 over run, and by the way, 5 straight overs for them in their last 5 games, they can still score goals on occasion. And if you actually look at their last 4, they scored 5 against the Flyers, 9 against the Islanders, 3 against Carolina, 5 in a win against Florida the other night. So, the offense is still there for the Rangers down the stretch. We're still seeing them put the puck in the net, but obviously defensively, they're a mess. There's also a team that gave up 5 to Tampa when they faced them here at Madison Square Garden just 10 days ago. They gave up 8 to the Philadelphia Flyers. They gave up 7 to Carolina over the weekend. And even though they beat Florida, they still gave up 3 goals. Bottom line is I see Tampa probably scoring 3. The Rangers, what we've seen against a disinterested, team, a Tampa team that's not going to block shots left and right here tonight either. I could see the Rangers getting 3 goals as well. And if both teams get 3, there's your over. So first period over, full game over for me here with the Lightning and the Rangers staying far away from a side. Alex, what do you think here, Tampa Bay, New York Rangers?
This is a complete pass for me, and I'm just delighted because I looked up and saw, I didn't even realize this, Matt Rempe got to 8 points. So I cashed my over 7.5 with his season point prop. So it's nothing. That was the only thing I was going to actually look at. I was like, let me see where Matt Rempe's sitting at. Maybe I'll take a shot with him. This is a complete pass. Nothing here at all.
No, I don't blame you. Plus, we don't even know if Panarin's going to play. Last I checked, Laviolette didn't declare if he was going to be in the lineup. We'll have to see. As of right now, he's in. I haven't heard anything contrary to that, but this might be something where all of a sudden we find out before game time he's not playing. But if he is playing, he does need 1 point for 90. JT Miller needs 1 point for 70. Zibanejad needs 1 more point for 60. Trocheck needs 2 more points for 60. Kreider needs 2 more points for 30.
I would look at Miller, if anything. If there's anybody who, since he came back to New York, even with all that's gone on, because he had his own issues and things in Vancouver, he's been the guy where we've kind of seen him stand up, deliver more. If there's one player prop I'd look at that much, it would just definitely be JT Miller.
Yeah, I could see. I honestly, I'm with Doug here in our chat. I could see Tampa winning this, but I'm not betting Tampa in a game that means nothing to them. And I'm sure I'm staying far away from the Rangers. So just give me some goals. Give me no defense both ways, and I will be happy when it comes to this game here tonight. All right, Philadelphia Flyers and Buffalo Sabres. We've got the Sabres minus 160. Home favorites, 6.5, the total in this game. I took Buffalo at below minus 150. It's moved since I got in on it. I will admit that. It was, I think, minus 140 or minus 145 it was when I took Buffalo. And I don't usually lay a price like that on the money line, but I did that here with Buffalo. Again, a smaller bet as most of them are for me tonight. But I just find they're going to want to finish strong here. They've had a good home record down the stretch. It is the fan appreciation night, the whole bit, final home game. And I know the Flyers have certainly had they've played relatively competitively down the stretch for interim head coach Brad Shaw. But this Sabres team, other than losing to Toronto and getting shut out, and that's another thing. Do you want your last memory of the home schedule to be getting shut out by Toronto and all their fans just going nuts, clinching the division on your home ice, and then you follow that up with losing tonight, your very final home game. I don't think they want that. And let's not forget, before Buffalo got shut out by Toronto the other night, this team was on a big-time home win streak and beating pretty good teams. Carolina, Boston, Tampa Bay, Edmonton, Vegas. I mean, that's a slew of really good teams that the Buffalo Sabres have beaten on home ice, here in the last month or so of the season. So I'm on Buffalo money line split with Buffalo team total over 3.5 in this game, and it's another over by Fecta. You guessed it right. I don't know who's playing defense tonight. Don't put it off. Fade Kolosov. Yes, our guy. One last time we get to fade Alexei Kolosov, who's going to get this start tonight for the Philadelphia Flyers in between the pipes. I got no qualms fading that 3.56 goals against average, 867 save percentage that Kolosov is rocking coming into this game. So it's over by Fecta and a Sabres money line, Sabres team total over 3.5 split for me. Alex, Flyers, Sabres.
Yeah, I will go with the first period over, sprinkle it small pregame, even at minus $1.30, $1.35, and then add a little bit more on in game at plus money. But that's the only thing I'm rolling with. Goals early, and then get my cash and get out.
Get in and get out. Absolutely. As far as the props for this game here tonight, Philly and Buffalo, Mishkov does need 1 goal for 25 goals. Brink needs a point for 40. Dahlin needs 2 points to get to 70 for the Buffalo Sabres, Rasmus Dahlin. So this could be one of these deals where you sprinkle on the over 1.5 points. You'll get good plus price on that because he needs 2 to get to that plateau. So I could definitely see that being a pathway to go with Rasmus Dahlin over 1.5 points. Like, what good is it for him to just get 1 point? He'll fall short. Like, he's going to press probably for the 2 points that he needs as far as his milestones. So those would be some props I'd be looking at in that one with the Flyers and the Sabres. And by the way, goaltending, we don't know who's going to be in net for the Sabres, but Reimer's been projected. But again, we don't have a confirmation yet that he will be the starter for them here
No,
tonight.
it is. It's confirmed. I'm
Is
seeing
Reimer?
that on goalie posts. Yeah, Reimer and Fedotov.
Yeah, not a surprise. Not a surprise. So, like I said, they've given him a lot of starts here down the stretch. We'll see if that continues. So, yeah, Sabres money line and team total over, and then the over by Fecta here for me as well. All right, original 6 matchup, although they'll be playing for exercise here tonight, like pretty much everyone is. The Detroit Red Wings taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs. We've got Toronto minus 160. Home favorite. Oh, Ryan McLeod does need. Yeah, it's a good point, Jonathan. Yes, that's a good goal prop. I forgot to mention that. Ryan McLeod for Buffalo. He's at 19 goals. He needs 1 for 20. So that's absolutely one worth looking at, 100%. Toronto minus 166 the total here in this game. The Leafs clinched the Atlantic Division. They know they're facing Ottawa. It'll start Sunday night right here at Scotiabank Arena. It's looking like Peter Mrazek will start tonight because it was Alex Lyon last night against New Jersey, which means it's probably going to be Mrazek here for this final game. Of course, Mrazek, this is a guy that, they got him to kind of help the goaltending, and yet with them, he hasn't played since March 24th for this Detroit Red Wings team. So we haven't seen him for quite some time. It's I'm starting to think, what the hell did they get Mrazek for, man? Like, really? That's my thinking here with this Detroit Red Wings team.
The whole thing was ridiculous.
The whole thing is ridiculous because you need a goaltending help. At least if you're going to get the guy, play him. And they never did. They always went to Lyon and Talbot, mostly Talbot, when it was all said and done. So didn't make much sense. But Mrazek now all of a sudden is going to get this meaningless road finale start here for the Detroit Red Wings. No surprise that Toronto is going to start Joseph Woll here tonight. Let's give Stolarz a little bit of a breather. He's been phenomenal. 3 shutouts in his last 4 starts. An incredible run down this. I think he's at 8-0 in his last 8 starts, Stolarz. But get him ready for game 1. Give him some rest. And Joseph Woll will get the start here tonight for the Leafs. Everyone's in for the Leafs. Craig Berube came out and said it in the press conference this morning. Other than the 3 guys that have been out for the last few games due to injury, Ekman Larsson, David Kampf, and Jake McCabe, and they've been out for the last few games. Other than that, everyone's playing tonight. So you're going to see Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Nyes, Morgan Riley, Tavares. They're all going to be out there tonight for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So that kind of tells me, you know what? Normally we'd look to fade Toronto at this price with everything locked up, but I think they're kind of got a little a little want to finish the home schedule with a win here. And it's not like I trust Detroit, quite honestly, on a back-to-back. I would bet Detroit before I bet Toronto in this spot at this price, but I don't have to. That's the beauty of it. So yeah, I'm staying off. I'd lean Detroit if I had to, but like I said, I think Toronto actually kind of wants to end it with a home win here, with them putting out pretty much a full roster, full lineup here tonight in this game. Plus, it's back-to-back on the road for the Red Wings. Not exactly a great spot for them. Nothing on the side here. I did grab a small piece of the full game over, just the full game over. Why is that? Because Toronto's been a slow starting first period team lately. There's been a lot of slow starts in these games. But I think for one night, maybe there's just not that defensive intent and defensive intensity that we've seen from the Leafs down the stretch, to try to ramp up. And again, at DraftKings, you can get over 5.5 minus 130. Detroit's been an over machine here down the stretch. That's kind of why I did bet over 5.5 here, because Detroit's been kind of playing run and gun up and down. They've been scoring, but they've been giving up goals as well. So at 5.5, I will take a shot here with the over 5.5 in this game. But my number one bet for this whole hockey game, you guys already know where I'm going. You've got to know where I'm going with this. With an empty netter last night, he gets to 19 goals for the Detroit Red Wings. With one more goal tonight, he hits 20, and all those bonuses and all those incentives kick in, and you can still get one hell of an awesome price. Marco Kasper, the friendly betting ghost. I think he's going to strike again tonight. He's going to get to that 20-goal mark. I think he's probably also going to, get over his shot prop, because let's give Perlo a shit ton of credit yesterday on the show, who said Marco Kasper over 1.5 shots. He had that over. He had 2 shots on goal, I think, in the first period of that game. That's how quickly it happened. So his shots on goal prop, Marco Kasper, is probably worth a look in this game as well, along with the goal prop, which is still plus 380 at FanDuel. And then, of course, on the Toronto side, John Tavares needs 2 goals for 40. I'm dabbling in the over 1.5 goals for Tavares tonight, the former captain of the Leafs, who's had just a brilliant, just renaissance offensive season for the Toronto Maple Leafs. 2 goals away from 40. We're on that. Matthew Knies, hungry Knies. 1 goal from you, and it's milestone time for hungry Knies. 1 more goal for a milestone of 30 for Matthew Knies. So plus 230 for him. Got to take that for sure as far as goal props. The Knies shots on goal, because it's correlated. The guy is going to try to strive for the milestone number. He's got to shoot the puck. So taking Matthew Knies over shots on goal makes sense as well. So there's some good props here. And Berggren, let's go to Berggren again for Detroit. This guy has just been phenomenal since he was moved up to the top line with Dylan Larkin with that group. Scored again last night for the Red Wings against New Jersey, up there on that top line with Larkin and Raymond. So Jonathan Berggren, let's go to that well one more time here as well. Alex, what do you think here with this one, Red Wings Leafs?
I only made 2 bets. I went with Marco Kasper, anytime goal scorer, plus 380, and I went with Sir Patrick Kane, anytime goal scorer, plus 275. The 380 is at FanDuel, 275 for Kane is at DraftKings. My only 2 bets for this one.
All right, good stuff. And we wrap things up with our final game of the night, final regular season game we will talk about on this show this season. And it's the Calgary Flames taking on the Los Angeles Kings. We've got LA minus 180, home favorites. The total here sitting at 5.5, shaded to the over here in this game. Very interesting. Now, LA is one of these teams. We expected them to kind of not lay down, but we expected them to be maybe vulnerable against Seattle. But they finished off that back-to-back on the road with a win against the Kraken. Now they're back home for their season finale. They know they start with Edmonton Monday night right here at Crypto.com Arena in the first round. Darcy Kemper is going to get the start here for the LA Kings. As of now, the only players I see probably not playing are the ones that, let's see, Anderson, Deneau, Doughty, and it looks like Adrian Kempe. So Adrian Kempe's, he played in Seattle. It looks like, though, he's going to rest tonight for the LA Kings here in this game. Same thing with Trevor Moore for Los Angeles. But so there's going to be a couple guys out, but at the same point in time, there's still going to be, you've still got Kopitar, it looks like, suiting up here in this game tonight. Fiala, Quentin Byfield, Alex Laferriere, Turcotte, Kuzmenko, Fogle, the Fogue Daddy, as I like to call him. So definitely, I would say probably like a 70-80% lineup here tonight for the Kings. Does that mean they want to win this game badly? Who knows? I was interested initially in Calgary, but then I saw Dan Vladar starting. And this is not me saying Dan Vladar sucks or anything, but this is just, they've run this far with Wolf. He's been phenomenal. And now that they're out, it kind of tells me that maybe Calgary had the big comeback against Vegas to say goodbye to their fans at the Saddle Dome for one last game. And now with Vladar starting, and you read the tea leaves of some of the comments I've seen from Flames players, I'm not convinced they're all invested in this game tonight. We'll see. Maybe they are. But I lean Calgary initially at this price, and I would still lean Calgary ahead of taking LA. But there's enough that's saying, you know what, pass. And as of at the moment, that's what I'm doing. But I do like some props in this game. And like I said, Laferriere needs one more goal to get to 20. I think that's worth a look. The Fogue Daddy, Warren Fogle, needs one more goal to get to 25 goals for the LA Kings. Huberdeau needs 2 for 30. 2 goals for 30 for Jonathan Huberdeau. So this is another one where, it's not a given it's going to happen because, scoring 2 goals is, you don't snap your fingers and score 2 goals in this league. But I think you do take a shot that maybe it's a multi-goal night for Jonathan Huberdeau as he attempts to get to 30 on the season. So more so a prop game for me here when it comes to the Flames and the Kings. One for 25 as well for Coronado. Jonathan, yes, I missed that one. Matthew Coronado. And of course, we know he's been great, especially down the stretch as far as producing for this Flames team. And Klapka, who suddenly, they're figuring out that, hey, he's got some offensive instincts. He's a big body. You put him in front of the net, he can, for tips and redirections and deflections, and he can make that happen. So, certainly Klapka's picked it up, getting good prices still on him. So, more so a prop game here for me when it comes to the Flames and the Kings. Alex, here it is, final game of the regular season, Calgary, LA.
This one's going to be a pass for me, but one thing I want to note, when you mentioned about Huberdeau needing 2 goals to hit a milestone, a lot of these 2-goal guys, you might want to take a shot with some last goal props with some of those players too, because if they score a goal, they're 1 goal away. If there's a chance when they have an empty net, those will be the guys that are looking to feed the puck for sure with those milestones in hand. So that's something I just wanted to recommend and kind of give out as well. Just look for last goal spots where you're looking for guys who need 1 or even 2 goals remaining.
Yeah, no doubt. That's definitely a good piece of advice, no question. There you have it, folks. The regular season's over. The fun stuff is about to begin.
Yeah.
And it starts tomorrow on Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern time with our Stanley Cup Playoff Preview edition of the Ice Guys show. And it's series prices. It's player props for the series that I'm going to have a bunch of them that I will mention on the show tomorrow. Exact series results. I mean, every way you can, and just overall series thoughts, predictions, picks, bets, preview. That's what we'll be doing tomorrow. And then, of course, Saturday, we'll be back at the usual weekend time, noon Eastern, Saturday, and, of course, Sunday this weekend. And we'll do as usual, throughout the playoffs. Nothing changes. The format you know and love stays the same, game-by-game preview of every game throughout the Stanley Cup playoffs. But it's going to be nice because now we're going to only have 2, 3, 4 games a day to talk about throughout the first round, and then even less than that as we move on. Betcast information. Tomorrow's the day we will announce the date of our first Stanley Cup Playoffs live Betcast. The only thing I will say right now is it's next week. It's Patreon exclusive, and at least for the first week of the playoffs, we will just have that one Stanley Cup Playoff Betcast, and it's coming your way next week. We will announce the date of that Betcast tomorrow on the Stanley Cup Playoffs preview show. And again, it will also be a Patreon exclusive live Betcast. So with that in mind, again, most of our live Betcasts in the Stanley Cup playoffs, outside of one in May and one in June, the rest of our Stanley Cup playoff live Betcast will be for our Patreon members exclusively. So with that in mind, there is absolutely no better time than right now, right before the Stanley Cup playoffs begin, to sign up at patreon.com/iceguys. Just $10 per month. You're going to get, obviously, still the goalie charts, totals charts. You're going to get the daily betting card, sides, totals, player props posted throughout the Stanley Cup playoffs each and every day on the Patreon page. And, of course, access to all the bonus content, live chat rooms set up on the Patreon page, patreon.com/Ice Guys. And I'm going to be more involved during the playoffs in those chat rooms and posting live bets and interacting with our great Patreon members. Looking forward to that starting on Saturday for sure. So get in on the chat with our Patreon members. Alex and I will chime in our Patreon group or chat rooms as well. There's one for live wagering. There's one for general discussion, posting screenshots of your tickets and your bets, all that good stuff on the Patreon page. And of course, signing up means you'll have access and the ability to join us for every Patreon exclusive Stanley Cup playoff live betcast that we have between now and the end of the season in June. So sign up, just $10 per month. Your subscription goes a long way to supporting the show. Patreon.com/Ice Guys.
Yes, also check out the Ice Guys store, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. You have until midnight tonight to save 20% off of all items available in the store right now. You hit on the redeem button at the homepage, add all your items to your cart, and 20% will be available and taken out at checkout. So we've got a lot of different items and stuff. I know, Ian, you've been rocking all the different merch you got. I've been rocking my stuff as well. We'll be rocking our stuff tonight on Chicken Dinner also. So definitely want to grab that merch. But the 20%
the telescope's coming out tonight. Yeah, the telescope.
That's right.
Yeah.
The telescope. Yeah. So, so we got the 20% off until tonight, and then through the weekend, you will have the deal of 3 or more items, 10% off going. So like I said, we have deals all April long at iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
There you go. Check it out. Get on that and check out the Robinsons T-shirt and hat and all their stuff too. Great design.
Absolutely.
Support Maddie and Ryan Robinson. Maddie might be on tomorrow. Matt might be part of our playoff preview show tomorrow. He said he would definitely love to join us if he's able to, because he's coming back from Dallas. He was there for the last few days. So again, he might be with us tomorrow. We've got actually someone, a guy that's coaching, goaltending coach right now, going to join us, make his debut. Jack Hardigan going to join us tomorrow on the show as well. So looking forward to having them with us, and maybe Maddie as well on the playoff preview edition of the show tomorrow. Very much looking forward to that. Good stuff. All right, bargain bin special of the night and best bets coming up in just a moment, right after we hear from our great Ice Guy sponsors.
Support for the Ice Guys podcast is provided by Boston Hemp Incorporated, Tailgaters Social, and a big thank you to all that subscribe to the Ice Guys Patreon page. Everyone loves a perfect pair. Bacon and eggs. Thunder and lightning. Mario and Luigi. A hot dog with fries. Ian and Alex B. That's right. Everyone loves a perfect pair. So why not pair up your game nights with Boston Hemp? From exotic flower to concentrates and edible products. You'd be hard-pressed to find a better pairing than Boston Hemp and hockey. Check them out today at bostonhempinc.com. That's bostonhempinc.com. Boston Hemp Incorporated, the official smoke sponsor of the Ice Guys. Void where prohibited by law. Not available outside of the United States. Must be 21 or over to obtain products. Check your local regulations to see if Boston Hemp is available in your area.
Hey, Ian, I got to tell you about this app I've been using lately called Kalshi. Kalshi.com. Did you know it's the only place where you can trade on March Madness in all 50 U.S. states?
I have heard about this, actually. Kalshi is the first and only legal prediction market that lets you trade on real-world events with the look and feel of stock trading, whether it's who will win elections, who will win the Grammy or Oscar awards, or what the price of Bitcoin will hit this year. You can bet you trade on just about anything on Kalshi.
With over 1 million users across all 50 states and over $1 billion worth of trades, Kalshi is an absolute game changer. And with March Madness coming to a close, baseball about to get in the full swing, playoffs on the horizon in hockey and basketball, now's the time to sign up to trade with Kalshi today.
Sign up at kalshi.com/iceguys, and the first 500 traders to join and trade 100 contracts, you will get a free $10 credit added to your account. So don't miss out on all the action. Join Kalshi today at kalshi.com/iceguys. That's kalshi.com/iceguys. Shout out to all our great sponsors, including Boston Hemp Inc. 20% off using the promo code IceGuys at bostonhempinc.com. And check out the great trading platform and all the things you can get involved with, not just sports, crypto, politics, entertainment stuff, and more. Kalshi.com/IceGuys. Must be the last day of the regular season. People are getting heated in the chat room. I see right now. It's great. It's good. As long as it's spirited banter, it's nothing wrong with that. All right, bargain bin special of the night for the final time here in the regular season with the bargain bin special. Alex, where are you headed? Bargain bin special.
Let's head out to the Steel City, Pittsburgh, PA. You got Washington taking on the Penguins. Big rivalry game as always, even if it is the last game of the season. Caps are going on in the playoffs, and Penguins are going golfing. But right before they do that, we got a little parlay here. We're going to go with that Brian Rust anytime goal scorer. But then I went with Sidney Crosby to get 2 points in the contest. So parlaying that Brian Rust anytime goal scorer with Sidney Crosby 2 points or more. That's plus 381 at FanDuel. We're going to wrap up the season with that as a bargain bin special tonight.
There you go. So that's Brian Rust goal. Sidney Crosby over 1.5 points. So there you go. 2 points for Crosby or more, and then Brian Rust to score a goal. Parlayed together for the Pittsburgh Penguins, plus 381 for Alex B. Smith and his final bargain bin special of the night for this regular season. And I've got two as well. I shouldn't say two as well, but I've got two, I should say, to begin the season, or to end the season, rather. You know we're coming back to Marco Kasper, the friendly betting ghost. That's the biggest no-brainer in the history of the bargain bin special of the night. Plus 380 at FanDuel for Marco Kasper for the Detroit Red Wings. And I'm going to go with, in the late game, Calgary-LA, Alex Laferriere at plus 300. Right on the nose, plus 300 at Bet Rivers for Alex Laferriere. Needs one more goal to get to 20 for the LA Kings, and we'll see if he is able to deliver that here tonight against the Calgary Flames. So there you have it. Marco Kasper, Detroit, plus 380, and Alex Laferriere for LA, plus 300 for my final bargain bin specials of the night for the 2024-2025 regular season. All right, best bets, our final best bet for the regular season. Alex, what do you like?
Yeah, I probably didn't have it as the best bet the entire year. Certainly not during the middle of the year, but the Pittsburgh Penguins, minus $1.02 against Washington tonight. Like I said, Crosby's not letting this team just give up. He hasn't done that all year long. They've been fighting hard and give the home fans something to cheer for against their rival. Let's go with the Penguins. Minus $1.02 on the money line. That is my best bet, final best bet for the regular season.
All right, there you go. Pittsburgh Penguins, minus 102 against Washington. Best bet for Alex B. Smith. My best bet for this one is the first bet I made. Of course, I got the money line. We can't give you the money line now with the price being what it is. So instead, we will go with Blue Jackets in regulation against the New York Islanders. I don't think they are mailing this thing in, even though they got eliminated last night. I think it's let's end the season the right way. We've had a hell of a season. Let's go out the right way, and I think they will. We'll take Columbus minus 105 in regulation against the New York Islanders. That will be my best bet here for this final day of the NHL regular season. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much.
You got to let them know about tonight.
That's right. Thank you. I almost forgot again. Chicken Dinner podcast with Sammy P tonight. Yours truly, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, Jarek Rubel as well, one of our great Ice Guys fan members, talking Stanley Cup playoff preview, 7:30 p.m. Eastern tonight. Check it out. Chicken Dinner YouTube channel.
Show starts at 7. We'll be on at 7:30. But look up follow at Chicken X Dinner on Twitter. We'll be tweeting it out. The Ice Guys account will be tweeting it out. They'll be tweeting it out as well. You'll be able to watch it on Twitter, or you can watch it on YouTube as well.
Yeah, no doubt. I think the show's about an hour, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Is that right? An hour?
About
7 to 8, and we'll be on
Yeah.
for pretty much the second half of the show.
Yeah.
7:30, till about 7:50, 7:55.
So-
Then he boots us out and probably has the outro after that, or the exit
Right.
to the show.
Yeah,
if I'm
so
not
definitely
mistaken.
come in. There's a chat and stuff, and usually they don't interact in the chat, but we want the chat to be lively, so we want the Ice Guys, the family, show up in full force for tonight.
Yeah, if you're able to. Certainly, if you're
Yeah, of
busy
course.
and
Yeah.
you can't, no worries. But if you're around and you got nothing going on, come on in.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
certainly these games tonight are not going to keep you glued to the set for every second. That is for damn sure. You might as well, check us out here on the Chicken
Especially
Dinner
if you can't get a chance to watch us tomorrow for the playoff preview, because we're going to be going through some of those same things. So some of the stuff that we have taken care of now, of course, we'll go more in depth tomorrow. But if you get a chance, definitely check that on out.
No doubt. I agree with that fully. So make sure you check it out, the Chicken Dinner podcast, and we'll get you ready for the Stanley Cup playoffs tonight. And just a little, it'll be a nice little primer for what we're going to deliver tomorrow when we do the full bore
An appetizer.
playoff preview show, an appetizer, then the entree tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. And with that in mind, a reminder, we are on tomorrow. There's no NHL games tomorrow, but we will get you ready as good as we can for the Stanley Cup playoffs, 2 p.m. Eastern, tomorrow on Friday, full playoff preview, every series, series wagers, player props wagers for the series, you name it, and futures. Obviously, we're going to make our Stanley Cup picks tomorrow on the show as well, who's going to be in the Stanley Cup final and who's going to win it. So make sure you join us tomorrow on the Stanley Cup playoff preview edition of the Ice Guys. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. For Alex B. Smith, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Thursday night. Enjoy the final night of the NHL regular season. And we are back tomorrow. Stanley Cup playoff preview edition of the Ice Guys, Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, right here on the Ice Guys.